Hare
Hare
Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Krishna.
Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, welcome you all to today's session of Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, called Dhyana Yoga. And we'll start with text number 40 today, right? 40, right, Mandaji?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. So we'll read from 40 to 47. That is the end of the chapter today. All right. So let's, everyone can repeat after me. Start with here. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha
Shri Bhagavan Vacha
Patra Naiveha Namutra
Patra Naiveha Namutra
Vinasasya Tasya Vidyate
Vinasasya Sasya Vidyate
Nahi Kalyana Krita Kaschid
Nahi Kalyana Kruta Kashit
Durgatim Tat Gacchati.
Durgati Sat Gachati.
Anybody else wants to read?
I will read.
Yes, you can read.
Hare Krishna. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Son of Path, a A transcendentalist engaged in auspicious activity does not meet with destruction either in this world or in the spiritual world. One who does good, my friend, is never overcome by evil. Purport. In Srimad Bhagavatam 1.5.17, Sri Narad Muni instructs Vyasdev as follows. Tyaktva sav dharmam karan karnam bhujam harir bhajan apakvo ta patet tato yabi yatra kavva babhadram abhud amisya kim ko varta apto bhaj bhajatam sava dharman dharmatah. If someone gives up all the material prospects and takes complete shelter of Supreme Personality of Godhead, there is no loss or degradation in any way. On the other hand, a non-devotee may fully engage his occupational duty and yet not gain anything. For material prospects, there are many activities, both spiritual and customary. A transcendentalist is supposed to give up all material activities for the sake of spiritual advancement in life, Krishna consciousness. One may argue that by Krishna consciousness, one may attain the highest perfection if it is completed. But if one does not attain such a perfectional stage, then he loses because material and both loses both materially and spiritually. It is enjoined in the scriptures that one has to suffer the reactions for not executing prescribed duty. Therefore, one who falls in discharge transcendental activity properly becomes subjected to these reactions. The Bhagavatam assures the unsuccessful transcendentalist that there need be no worry. Even though he may be subjected to the reaction for non perfectionally executing prescribed duty, he is still not a loser because auspicious Krishna consciousness is never forgotten. And one so engaged will continue to be so even if he is low born in the next life. On the other hand, one who simply follows strictly the prescribed duties not need not necessarily attain the auspicious result if he is lacking in Krishna consciousness. The purpose may be understood as follows. Humanity may be divided into two sections, namely the regulated and the non regulated. Those who are engaged simply in vestigial sense gratification without knowledge of their next life or spiritual salvation belong to the non regulated section. And those who follow the principles of the prescribed duty in the scriptures are classified among the regulated sections. The non-regulated sections, both civilized and non-civilized, educated and non-educated, strong and weak, are full of animal propensities. These activities are never auspicious because while enjoying the animal propensity of eating, sleeping, defending, and mating, they perpetually remain in the material existence, which is always miserable. On the other hand, those who are regulated by spiritual injunctions, and who thus raise gradually in Krishna consciousness certainly progress in life. Those who follow the path of auspiciousness can be divided into three sections, namely, the follower of spiritual rules and regulation who are enjoying material prosperity. Two, those who are trying to find ultimate liberalization from material existence. Three, those who are devotees of Krishna consciousness. Those who are following rules and regulations in the scriptures of material happiness may be further divided into two classes. Those who are fruitive workers and those who desire no fruit of for sense gratification. Those who are after fruitive results of the sense gratification may be elevated to the highest standard of life, even to the highest planet. But still, because they are not free from material existence, they are not following the truly auspicious path. The only auspicious activities are those which lead one to liberalization. Any activity which are not aimed to ultimate self-realization or liberalization from the material bodily concepts of life is not at all auspicious. Activities in Krishna consciousness is only auspicious activity. And anyone who voluntarily accepts all bodily discomfort for the sake of making progress in the path of Krishna consciousness can come to the perfect transcendentalist under the severe austerity. And because the Eightfold Yoga system is directly towards the ultimate realization of Krishna consciousness, such practice is also auspicious. And no one who is trying his best in this matter need fear degradation. Hare Krishna.
Can you hear me? Thank you.
Yes.
Yes, thank you for reading for everyone. So let's. This is a long purport. So let's understand. Sharing another screen. You can see now. So this is just now Hital Mataji read. So we'll understand this. I'll say some prayers. You don't have to say. Om Ajnanitimirandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chachurupurmilitamena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namah. Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Utapad Sri Gurun Vaishnavancha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagar Lalitam Tam Tam Sajivam Shadvaitam Shavadutam Parijan Shahitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sri Galalita Sri Visakhantanscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम हरे हरे. So far till sloka 40, if you remember, when Krishna stopped describing Dhyana Yoga, Arjuna said it is impractical. It is not possible to practice for me. He says, You're asking me to focus the mind so many ways, but the mind is so turbulent, oh Krishna, that I can control the wind, but I cannot control my mind. So, therefore, what you describe is dhyana yoga, meditation is not practical for me. So, Krishna replies to Arjun that yes, indeed, what you said is correct. The mind is turbulent and obstinate, very difficult to control. Therefore, but one can control the mind or regulate the mind by practice and detachment, detaching the mind from external objects, the material objects. So then Arjun says, okay, Krishna, what if I fail? Or what if somebody does this meditation fails? Because since since it is a big task, there is a chance of failure. So what happens if somebody fails in this process of dhyana yoga? So neither this person will be able to enjoy the world or nor it will achieve the spiritual life. So Arjun give example of a ridden cloud. A cloud separated from a big cloud lost. There is no existence. Correct? So that's the example Arjun gives that if I detach from material world and I cannot succeed in a spiritual world, then what will happen to me? Right? Correct? That's a very practical thing because, for example, if you are trying a career choice and which is very hard to achieve, so what if you fail? So neither you became a politician. It's like, I'm sorry to say, it's like Anna Hazare, right? Anna Hazare did the in Delhi back in, if you remember, it was like a whole country was burning. Like almost everybody was talking about what do you call bill, Lokpal bill, and Anna Hazare and Arvind Kejriwal came in that movement, and Anna Hazare, was in Vallam, but then Arvind Kejriwal left him, and then he went back to Maharashtra in a village, lived in again. So he neither could get fame nor he could get purpose fulfilled. So far, we don't have anything. No anti-corruption things, right? Same thing. Now, Arvind Kejriwal himself became corrupt, and then now he lost the election this year, right? So it's like political life. You're trying very big thing. You want to become big, but then if you lose, what happens? You lose everything. Or somebody is preparing for IAS exam. There are so many people prepare in India. So if they try for a decade, almost 10 years, and if they fail, they are nowhere. Neither they could build their career, nor they become an IAS, so they are lost. So same thing can happen in spiritual life or dhyana yoga or meditation also, that if you and Arjuna is asking very practical question. Since it is so difficult, the mind controlling is so difficult, what will happen if I fail? So this is sloka here, what we were just looking at. 40 Krishna is saying, oh Arjun, but in this endeavor, you will never fail. There is a win-win situation. Right? So here Prabhupada is explaining how, right? So the more roles of material duties. So first, if you see the purport, so in material duties there are many activities. There some are given in literature, scripture, and some are just customs. Like we do so many things, but it's just custom or ritual, right? So expectation from this verse that Krishna is asking, if you become a transcendentalist, if you give up all these material activities, for what? For the sake of spiritual advancement. And what are these material activities? Those are only to get material prospect, right? But somebody can say that, all right, if I give up all my material activities and you're asking me to take a spiritual process, what if I don't complete the course? It's like you take admission in a class or in a degree course and you never complete it. What will happen, right? Like in our degree course, it's free, But there are so many people don't come, right? They come initially, but then they lost the track. So what will happen to those? They spend some few classes. So what is there? You know, because neither they could enjoy their material life and neither they could become spiritual at that point, right? So scriptural understanding is that one has to suffer in this world. Doesn't matter whether you are Elon Musk, Trump, or Russia's Vladimir Putin, or Europe's prime minister, European Union's leader, or UK prime minister. Everybody is suffering. What suffering? What they did, their reactions they are getting, right? So in spiritual life also we go through so many difficulties. We have to take so much trouble. But the Bhagavatam says that anyway you have to suffer in this world. Why don't suffer for the right cause? Right? We take so much difficulties in life anyways. Why don't we take some difficulties for spiritual elevation? So because even if you do material perfection, even if you become a prime minister or president or a leader or a most richest person in the world, when you die, everything finished. You become zero. The next birth, you will never know. You become a cat, dog, pig, what, right? Or a mosquito. Who knows? So in next life, you have to do again same thing. But in spiritual life, there is no loss and diminution. There is no loss and there is no decrease. Okay, because Krishna never forgets what you did. Because you remember in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna said, no, Krishna informs Arjun that, oh, I instructed this science to Bibhashwan, sun god. You remember we had a discussion how old is Bhagavad Gita. So he says, Bhagavad Gita, I spoke this science to Bibhashwan, imam bhavashyate yogam praktavan abhamabhyayam vivasvate maname praha. So he says, I instructed this, but then Arjun said, oh, Krishna, how can I believe you? You are my contemporary. How can I trust what you instructed this science to? Sun God, who is 120 million year old than you. Then Krishna says, oh, in the past, you and I both have taken many births, but you forgot everything. I remember everything. You forgot everything, but I remember everything. Why? Then Krishna reveals, oh, my body does not deteriorate like you. I never take birth. I appear in the same body. In the 4th chapter, if you see, Sambhavami Yuga Yuga, Paritranaya Sadhunam, Vinasaya Chaduskritam, Dharma Samstatnarthaya Sambhavami Yuga Yuga. Yada Yada Hi Dharmasya Gyalan Glani Bhavat Bharata. Right? Krishna says that I don't change the body, but you change the body. So you forget, but I don't forget. And since I exist in your body as a soul, super soul, I remember everything what you did. You don't remember because you don't exist like that. So similarly, if we do spiritual life, then Krishna remembers it. But if we do material life, we remember it. And we die, so we forget. Right? You cannot reclaim, oh, I was a PhD in this life, in next life also. Even if I'm a dog, you should call me Dr. Dog. Right? You cannot claim that, right? So now next section, Prabhupada describing if you divide the whole humanity, there are two classes of people in the world. One is regulated. Regulated that those who follow scriptural injunction, like all of us, we are trying to regulate ourselves. And then you gradually elevate yourself to a spiritual platform, Krishna consciousness. And the second class of people called non-regulated, who are simply trying to find where is money, where is money, where is money, where is honey, where is honey, where is honey, right? Money, honey. And honey is what? Sex life, right? Where is women, where is men, where is, doesn't matter what gender you are, but everybody is trying, how can I enjoy the body of others? How can I get money? How can I eat nice? Nonsense, like all kind of things I can eat, whatever I like. So they are not regulated. They will do whatever they want, right? Now, the people who are non-regulated, their activities are never auspicious. Why? Because they will they enjoy all animal propensities: eating, sleeping, mating, defending. They will sleep excessively. They will eat excessively, for which is not even allowed to eat. They will drink whatever they want and they will do activities which are very abominable, even up to killing another human being. So it is very, this category of people are very crazy. Okay. And they can be civilized or uncivilized. If you further classify this non-regulated, you can say, oh, they are civilized, uncivilized human being, educated, uneducated, strong or weak, all come under here. But in regulated are those who are trying to get elevate themselves, right? Now, this follower of path of auspiciousness, the people who are spiritually inclined, they can be divided into three categories. Um, First, two types are fruitive worker. Those who want some result. So they are doing some puja, some sadhana, something. They want some result. Oh, if I do this, I get this. Right? So they will come back again because they have to enjoy their auspicious activity if they do, and they have to suffer their inauspicious activities. Right? So the first class is no use. Then second class of people in the regulated one, they want liberation. They want to merge into Brahman existence. But then when the Brahma finished, they have to come back in the material world again. But the third level, which is third classification is devotees, the bhaktas. So bhaktas are Krishna conscious. All of us who are trying to be devotee of Krishna, we are just doing everything for the satisfaction of Krishna and Guru. That is the only auspicious activities in real sense. Because other two, fruitive worker or you want liberation, jnanis, yogis, all this will finish when the you finish your body or when this world will finish. There is a cosmic annihilation after billions of years. It will finish. So only auspicious activities are Krishna consciousness because these yogis, eightfold yoga system, they are trying to become a yogi, but they have a long path because they are doing indirectly. They are not directly, right? So the yogis, the dhyana yogis, they will not lose this. Krishna will say in upcoming verse slokas, and you will soon hear this, that how they will remember. They will remember in their past life what they did, and they will continue from there. Okay? So let's read. What Krishna so far said that it will not get lost if you do Krishna conscious activities. All other activities, whether you are fruitive worker or you are jnani, dhyani, it may get lost, right? So we understood all that, and let's continue 41. Who wants to read 41? Hare Krishna. Can you hear me? Anyone wants to read?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Sure, I can read if it's okay.
Yes, Arjun. Yes, please.
Uh, yeah. Prapya punya kratam lokan usitva saraswati sama suchinam smimatam gehe yoga brasto vijayate. Translation: the unsuccessful yogi, after many years of enjoyment on the planets of the pious living entities, is born into a family of righteous people or into a family of rich aristocracy. Unsuccessful yogis are divided into two classes. One is fallen after very little progress, and one is fallen after long practice of yoga. The yogi who falls after a short period of practice goes to the higher planets, where pious living entities are allowed to enter. After prolonged life there, one is sent back again to this planet to take birth in the family of a righteous Brahmana Vaishnava or of aristocratic merchants. The real purpose of yoga practice is to achieve the highest perfection of Krishna consciousness, as explained in the last verse of this chapter. But those who do not persevere to such an extent and who fail because of material allurements are allowed, by the grace of the Lord, to make full utilization of their material propensities. And after that, they are given opportunities to live prosperous lives in righteous or aristocratic families. Those who are born in such families may take advantage of the facilities and try to elevate themselves to full Krishna consciousness.
You can read the next one, Arjun.
Yeah. अथवा योगिनम एव कुले भवति दिमतम एतद्धि दुर्लभतरम लोके जन्म यादृशम. Translation: or if unsuccessful after long practice of yoga, he takes his birth in a family of transcendentalists who are surely great in wisdom. Certainly such a birth is rare in this world. Purport: birth in a family of yogis or transcendentalists, those with great wisdom, is praised herein because the child born in such a family receives a spiritual impetus from the very beginning of his life. It is especially the case in the Acharya or Goswami families. Such families are very learned and devoted by tradition and training, and thus they become spiritual masters. In India, there are many such Acharya families, but they have now degenerated due to insufficient education and training. By the grace of the Lord, there are still families that foster transcendentalists generation after generation. It's certainly very fortunate to take birth in such families. Fortunately, both our spiritual master Om Vishnupada Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaja and our humble self had the opportunity to take birth in such families by the grace of the Lord. And both of us were trained in the devotional service of the Lord from the very beginning of our lives. Later on, we met by the order of the transcendental system.
You can read the third one also. They are related, so that's why I'm asking you to. It's all about birth.
Yeah. तत्र तं बुद्धि संयोगं लभते पौर्व देहिकं यथा ते च ततो भूया सिद्धौ कुरु नंदन. Translation: on taking such a birth, he revives the divine consciousness of his previous life, and he again tries to make further progress in order to achieve complete success, O son of Kuru. Purport: King Bharata, who took his third birth in the family of a good Brahmana, is an example of good birth for the revival of previous transcendental consciousness. King Bharata was the emperor of the world, and since his time, this planet has been known among the demigods as Bharatvarsh. Formerly, it was known as Ilvarsh. The emperor at an early age retired for spiritual perfection, but failed to achieve success. In his next life, he took birth in the family of a good Brahmana and was known as Jada Bharata because he always remained secluded and did not talk to anyone. And later on, he was discovered as the greatest transcendentalist by King Rahugana. From his life, it is understood that transcendental endeavors or the practice of yoga never go in vain. By the grace of the Lord, the transcendentalist gets repeated opportunities for complete perfection in Krishna consciousness.
Maybe last one. You can read this one and then we'll discuss.
Yes.
Yeah.
Purvabhyasena tenaiva priyate hi avasopisa jigyannasur api yogyasya sabda brahma tivartate. Translation: by virtue of the divine consciousness of his previous life, he automatically becomes attracted to the yogic principles, even without seeking them. Such an inquisitive transcendentalist stands always above the ritualistic principles of the scriptures. Purport: advanced yogis are not very much attracted to the rituals of the scriptures, but they automatically become attracted to the yoga principles, which can elevate them to complete Krishna consciousness, the highest yoga perfection. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, such disregard of Vedic rituals by the advanced transcendentalists is explained as follows. Or should I read the Sanskrit also?
I can read for you.
Yeah.
Ahavato swapachako tau gariyam ya jihvare vartate nam tubhyam te pustapaste juhuva sansurar arya brahmano churnam granatinti yete.
Yeah, thank you. O my Lord, persons who chant the holy names of your Lordship are far, far advanced in spiritual life. even if born in families of dog eaters. The chanters have undoubtedly performed all kinds of austerities and sacrifices, bathed in all sacred places, and finished all scriptural studies. The famous example of this was presented by Lord Chaitanya, who accepted Thakur Haridas as one of his most important disciples. Although Thakur Haridas happened to take his birth in a Muslim family, he was elevated to the post of Namacharya by Lord Chaitanya due to his rigidly attended principle of chanting 300,000 holy names of the Lord daily. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And because he chanted the holy name of the Lord constantly, it's understood that in his previous life he must have passed through all the ritualistic methods of the Vedas, known as Sabda Brahma. Unless, therefore, one is purified, one cannot take to the principles of Krishna consciousness or become engaged in chanting the holy name of the Lord. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. All right, so let's gonna change the view so that you can all see. We don't use normals. Okay, so far we were reading from 41. प्राप्य पुण्य कृतम लोका अनुष्ठित शाश्वती समा सुचिनाम श्रीमताम गेहे योग भ्रष्टो विजायते. So Krishna first said, you started with 40, that transcendentalist engaged in auspicious activity does not meet destruction either in this world nor in the spiritual world. One does good, my friend. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. So, and then, so there is no loss basically. If you do Krishna conscious, for example, you're reading Bhagavad Gita, it will never get lost because Krishna in your heart is listening and documenting, oh, you spent this much time. Even you spend a moment, it's noted. But even if you spend whole life for your family, at the end of your life when you're old, your family will say, what did you do for me? Nothing, you know. But Krishna will never say, oh, Krishna will say, oh, yeah, you spend 1 day for me or 1 hour, right? That's why I say, whatever time you have, you should join the class because even if you spend 15 minutes, it's noted and it's never lost. Now, Krishna is describing Papya Prapya Punya Krita Loka Manusritya Sasmriti Sama Suchimam Srimatam Gehe Yoga Prashta Vijayate. So, if someone fails in the yoga practice in this life, you become unsuccessful yogi. But so what happens to you in next life? You go to heavenly planets. Heavenly planets, and you enjoy better status of life than this planet. Okay. And then when you come back to this world again, you are born in a righteous family or family who is rich. Gehe. Srimadam means one who is pretty rich. Sri means richness, aristocracy, right? Or you're righteous people. So because you born in that family, you start your yogic journey from there, or you have opportunity to do the yoga practice from the beginning of life. You don't have to worry about your bread and butter daily. You're not struggling. Your family is so righteous or rich. You have all of us, I mean, almost all of us have that opportunity. We were all born in a decent family, I believe. And you had this opportunity to get some spiritual value from your parents, from your grandfather, from your society, from your family, right? So that's why you're here. Assume if you were born in somewhere in Middle East, you may be Muslim, or you're born in a family who is very sinful, or who is very atheist. They don't believe in anything. Then you may be doing the same because by birth we get all that, right? Or the second classification, if you are pretty advanced in long practice, if you do short practice of yoga and you fail, you get into rich family or righteous family birth. But if you what you can say, oh, if I did pretty, I gave my whole life long practice of yoga, right? अथवा योगिना मेवा कुले भवति धीमताम एतदि दुर्लभतरम लोके लोके जन्म यदि क्षमा. So if you do long practice of yoga, but if you still fail, what will happen? You will take birth in a family of very highly advanced spiritualist, transcendentalist, right? And because they are in great wisdom, this birth is very rare. Because actually, rarely people do long practice; they lose. In some point in life, if life is hit with hard difficulties, we give up spiritual practice, right? We don't, or become very happy. We get everything in life. We think, oh, why to remember God? Why to do anything godly? Oh, it's all just rituals, just myth, right? That's what we say, because we don't need God help most of time. So we think, oh, I don't need help, so why should I go to any temple, anything I should do, right? So we lose it most of time. That's why it's rare. Rarely people become unsuccessful of a long practice. Most of people start practice, they go away. So on taking such either of birth, whether you are born in rich family or righteous family or a transcendentalist or a highly educated family, spiritually educated family, you immediately revive your divine consciousness from previous life. For example, if you see, even don't take a spiritual thing but material thing, there are some kids are very intelligent from the birth itself, you know. Their father mother may be dumb, but the moment they are born and they are very intelligent in mathematics or certain subjects like Aryabhatta or all these people who made, you know, the histories, they are very intelligent. Their parents were not intelligent, but they were very intelligent, right? So they get consciousness from previous life, because in their last life they were unsuccessful yogis from previous life, right? So he tries to make further progress because there is no loss, start from the same step, right, to achieve complete success. And by virtue of this divine consciousness in previous life, he automatically become attracted to yogic principles. Like for example, in foreign country, when Srila Prabhupada came in 1965, in America, 1965, he came here. People here are not interested in, you know, spiritual life. They don't know at all. They have no exposure to Krishna or Vrindavan, Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita. They didn't knew much. But when he started his storefront in New York, 26th Avenue, 26th Second Avenue, automatically hundreds of American young boys join the movement, Hare Krishna movement, and fully dedicate their life. They learned Sanskrit in weeks and started speaking Sanskrit, reading Sanskrit, understanding, chanting, following all the rituals in a week or a month. How? They never did. Their whole life, they are grown up. They are now 18, 20-year old. But they automatically, moment they got exposure, they started doing it. This is a big proof. You can see the old videos. You will see, oh, these are the American boys and girls in a few weeks, right? This is the proof that this all comes from their previous life. They did not practice, their parents did not practice, they never got exposure. The moment they got opportunity, they became expert, right? So, so there is a previous life consciousness, which, especially this divine consciousness, Krishna consciousness, which gets revives faster. Because Krishna is sitting in everyone's hearts, and Krishna says, I give remembrance and forgetfulness, so he can give you. Oh, you go ahead, right? So I think we read till 45, right? Or 44? 44?
Yeah, 44 was the last we read.
Okay, let's do 45. Who wants to read? So we'll see what happens next. 45. So take birth, they revive their consciousness. So what happens next? What did they do? Who wants to read? Anyone volunteer? 45, 46, 47. Three sloka remaining, okay? This chapter. Ramachandra? Okay, perfect. Please go ahead. You have to unmute. That's the challenge. Most of the time you're unmute. Then I can't hear. Anyone can hear Ramchan? Yes. Ramchan,
No.
can you hear me? No. Yeah, that's hard. Maybe you should join with your laptop if possible. Your PC. Phone is not doing well. Anyone else? Nagrani Mataji or Kamni Mataji want to join? Read.
Prabhuji, I'm in bus. I don't have a book also, Prabhuji.
You can read from the screen. It's okay.
Yeah, okay, Prabhuji.
Hello?
Oh yeah, I can hear you now. Okay, Ramchandra is back. Sorry, Mataji.
Oh,
Okay,
Maybe
Prabhuji.
Ramchandra want to help you.
okay.
Okay, you can read still Nagrani Mataji after Ramchandra. Okay, 45.
Prabhuji.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. प्रयतानंद यथा मानस्तु योगी संशुद्ध किलीबसा अनेक जन्म संसिद्ध ततो यति param gatim. Translation. And when the yogi engages himself with sincere endeavor in making further progress, being washed of all contaminations, then ultimately achieving perfection after many births of practice, he attains the supreme goal. Purport. A person born in particularly righteous, aristocratic, and sacred family becomes conscious of his favorable conditions for executing yoga practice. With determination, therefore, he begins his unfinished task, and thus he completely cleanses himself of all material contaminations. When he is finally free from all contaminations, he attains the supreme perfection, Krishna consciousness. I think you scroll bit above. Yeah. Krishna's consciousness is the perfect stage of being free from all contaminations. This is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 7.28. Esvam ta antagatham papam jananam punya karmanam te devandava moha nirmukta bhajante mama drata. After many births of executing pious activities, when one is completely freed from all contaminations and from all illusory dualities, one becomes engaged in transcendental loving service of Lord.
You can read the
46.
next one.
Yeah.
Um, 46.
Oh, yeah. Tapos vibayo dhinak yogi janma vibayo pi matho dikha karmabhyaso kadiko yogi tasmad yogi bhavarjuna. Translation. A yogi is a greater than ascetic and greater than empiristic and greater than fruitive worker. Therefore, O Arjuna, in all circumstances, be a yogi. Purport. When we speak of yoga, we refer to linking our consciousness with supreme absolute truth, such as a process is named differently by various practitioners in terms of particular method adopted. When a linking process is predominantly in a fruitive process activities like karma yoga, when it predominantly empirical, it is called Janma Yoga. When it is predominantly in a devotional relationship with a Supreme Lord, is called Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga or Krishna consciousness is ultimately perfection of all yogas. As we will be explained in the next words, the Lord has confirmed here in the superiority of yoga, but he has not mentioned that it is better than Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga is a full spiritual knowledge and therefore nothing can excel it. Asceticism without self knowledge is imperfect. Empiric knowledge without surrender to the Supreme Lord is also imperfect. And a fruitive work without Krishna's consciousness is a waste of time. Therefore, the most highly praised form of yoga performance mentioned here is Bhakti Yoga. And This is still more clearly explained in the next verse. I
Can you
think
hear me now?
yeah, screen share got stopped.
Yeah, I just stop it. We'll
Okay.
discuss little and then.
Okay.
So after they fail, as you just listen, that yes, if they fail, short, they do very small yoga practice and they fail, they get birth in a rich family or richest family. But if they do long bhakti yoga or spiritual practice or any kind of yoga, they fail. They revive there. They got it birth into a Goswamis or Acharya family, very highly spiritually educated family. So they revive their consciousness. So, but when they revive, it's not that it's automatic. They have to still work. They have to make endeavor. They have to further make progress. They have to do first get rid of all the desires or contaminations. And and this 45 sloka says, if you see the translation, that is aneka janma samsiddha. They have to take many birth. It's not that in one birth of this practice they have to, this dhyana yoga, in one birth it may not. You have to take many births in a righteous or rich or a righteous, rich or a transcendentalist family to advance if you take the process of dhyana yoga. So many birth, and the mistakes can happen at any time. You never know when you get allurement and you deviate from the bhakti yoga path. So there is a risk, right? But Krishna is saying in the 46 we just read, Ramchand just read, there are three class of people in the world. The people who wants to enjoy their results of their work, called fruitive workers. The workers. They did job, they get salary, they want to enjoy salary. Fruitive worker. First, first classification. Second classification is people who are trying to become knowledgeable, empiricist, right? Knowledge, Brahmagyan, those class of people. And there are third class of people who are yogis, Dhyana yogis, Jnana yogis, Ashtanga yogis. So Krishna is saying out of these three classes, the yogi is better than person who is trying to get jnana or empiricist philosophers, right? Empiricist intellectuals, and there and intellectuals are better than people are just trying to enjoy the results of their fruits. So there are fruitive worker, empiricist like intellectuals or philosophers, and then yogis. So the yogis are the topmost. The yogis are better than the intellectuals, and intellectuals are better than general fruitive workers. Krishna is saying here. But Krishna didn't say which yogi is better. There are so many type of yogi: Jnana yogi, Dhyana yogi, Ashtanga yogi, Bhakti yogi, right? So now that's the last sloka. So who wants to read last sloka of the chapter 6?
Yes,
How
share the
many
screen. I'll read it, Prabhuji.
Of course, yes, I'll say. Yes, please.
योगिना अपि सर्वेषां मद्गतेन्दन आत्मान् श्रीद्धवान् भजते यो मां समे युक्ता तमो माता. And of all yogis, the one with great faith who always abides in me thinks of me within himself and renders transcendental loving service to me. He is the most intimately united with me in yoga and is the highest of all. This is my opinion. Purport. The word bhajate is significant here. Bhajate has its root in the verb bhaj, which is used when there is need of service. The English word worship cannot be used in the same sense as buzz. Worship means to adore or to show respect and honor to the worthy one. But service with love and faith is especially meant for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. one can avoid worshipping a respectable man or a demigod or may fall discourteous. But one cannot avoid servicing the Supreme Lord without being thoroughly condemned. Everything, every living entity is part of part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and thus every living entity is intended to serve the Supreme Lord by his own constitution. Failing to do this, he falls down. The Bhagavatam 11.5.3 confirms as follows. Ya Isam Purusham Saksat Atma Prabhavam Sa Ishwaram Na Vajanti Avajananti Stanabrasta Patanti Adha. Anyone who does not render service and neglects his duty unto the primal Lord, who is the source of all living entities, will certainly fall down from his constitutional position. In this verse also the word bhajanti is used. Therefore, bhajanti is applicable to this Supreme Lord only, whereas the word worship can be applied to demigods or to any other common living entity. The word Avajananti is used in this verse of Srimad Bhagavatam is also found in the Bhagavad Gita. Avajananti mam Muddha. Only the fools and rascals deride the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna. Such fools takes up upon themselves to write commentaries on the Bhagavad Gita without any attitude of service to the Lord. Consequently, they cannot properly distinguish between the word bhajanti and the word worship. The culmination of all kinds of yoga practices lies in the bhakti yoga. All other yogas are but means to come to the point of bhakti in bhakti yoga. Yoga actually means bhakti yoga. All other yogas are progressions towards the destination of bhakti yoga. From the beginning of the karma yoga to the end of bhakti yoga is a long way to self-realization. Karma yoga without fruitive results is the beginning of the path. When karma yoga increases in knowledge, in karma yoga somewhere I lost it, Prabhuji. Karma yoga, where it is? Yeah. When karma yoga becomes in knowledge and renunciation, the stage is called Jnana Yoga. When Jnana Yoga increases in meditation and the supreme super soul by different physical process and the mind is on him, it is called Ashtanga Yoga. And when one surpasses the Ashtanga Yoga and comes to the point of Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, it is called Bhakti Yoga, the culmination. Factually, Bhakti Yoga is the ultimate goal, but to analyze Bhakti Yoga minutely, one has to understand these other yogas. The yogi who is progressive is therefore on the truth path of the eternal good fortune. One who sticks to a particular point and does not make further progress is called by that particular name Karma Yogi, Jnana Yogi, or Dhyana Yogi, Raja Yogi, Hatha Yogi, etc. If one is fortunate enough to come to the point of Bhakti Yoga, it is to be understand that he has surpassed all other yogas. Therefore, to become Krishna consciousness in the highest stage of yoga, just as when we speak of Himalayan, we refer to the world highest mountains, of which highest peak Mount Everest is considered to be the culmination. It is by great fortune that one comes to Krishna consciousness on the path of Bhakti Yoga to become well situated according to the Vedic direction. The ideal yogi concentrates his attention on Krishna, who is called Syama Sundara, who is beautifully colored as a cloud, whose lotus-like face is like effulgent as the sun, whose dress is brilliant with jewel, and whose body is flower garlanded, illuminating all sides in is his gorgeous luster, which is called the Brahma Jyotir. He incarnates in different forms such as Rama, Nrsimha, Varaha, and Krishna, the supreme personality of Godhead. And he descends like a human being as the son of Mother Yashoda, and he is known as Krishna, Govinda, and Vasudeva. He is the perfect child, husband, friend, and master, and he fulfill all opulences and transcendental qualities. If one remains fully conscious of these features of the Lord, he is called the highest yogi. The stage of highest perfection in yoga can be attained only by bhakti yoga as is confirmed in all Vedic literature. Yasya deva parabhakti yadha deva tatha gaurav tasyadite katitha hai artha prakasante mahatmanah. Only unto those great souls who have implicit faith in both the Lord and the spiritual master are all the imports of Vedic knowledge automatically revealed. Sveta Svetasvatara Upanishad 6.23. Bhaktir asya bhajanam tat itamropadi nairasyena masmin manah kalpanam itad eva naiskaryamyam. Bhakti means devotional service to the Lord, which is free from desire for material profit, either in the life or in the next, either in this life or in the next. Devoid of such inclinations, one should fully absorb the mind in the supreme. That is purpose of Naikarmya. Nishkarmya. Gopala Tapani Upanishad 1.15. These are some of the means for performance of bhakti or Krishna consciousness, the highest perfectional stage of the yoga system. Thus, end the screen sharing is not there, Prabhuji.
Yes, I just stopped it. Yeah, this ends the
Okay.
Bhaktivedanta purport of 6th chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of Dhyana Yoga.
Okay.
Yes, so as you just read, if all of you can a little bit open your camera, that'd be nice. We can see for a few minutes. Okay. So we just read comparing different yoga. Krishna is saying, you can read again this sloka. Very, you can remember this sloka. Yoginam api sarvesam. All of you can repeat. Yoginam api sarvesam.
योगिनाम् अपि सर्वेषां
Matgaterantaratmana.
मद्गते अन्तरात्मनां
Shraddhavam bhajate yo mam.
श्रद्धावान् भजते यो मां
Same yukta tamo mata.
सा मे युक्तमतो मतः.
So in the previous sloka, Krishna says, be a yogi. In this one, Tasmad yogi bhava Arjuna. So he compared three class of people in the world, and he said, in all circumstance, be a yogi. So now question comes, what kind of yogi? Krishna says, and of all the yogis, yoginam api sarvesham. Sarvesham means all kind of yogis. Yoginam, all the yogis. On all kind of yogis, mat gaterantaratma. One with great faith who always abides in me. Mata means me. Mat gaterantaratmana, in the inside. Thinking of me within himself and render transcendental loving service to me. He is the most intimately united with me in yoga. Krishna is saying, you see, Shraddha vam bhajate yo mam. Mam means me. Same yukto tamo mata. This is my opinion that he is the highest of all the yogis. So in the yogis, there are karma yogi, dhyana yogi, jnana yogi, ashtanga yogi, bhakti yogi. And Krishna is saying, with great faith and devotion, who abide in me, think myself think of me within himself and render transcendental loving service to me. So, faith, abide means follows what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, what Krishna teaches, and thinks of Krishna by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. That's how you can remember Krishna constantly. And does some service, goes to temple, does some cooking, cleaning, washing, or nothing. You give some donation, your hard-earned money, you are working, your work becomes service because you are giving results of your work, the money you're making. So you are most intimately uniting with Krishna in yoga, right? It's connection to Krishna. And Krishna says that person is the highest of all. This is his opinion. This is what he thinks. And of course, he is the God. He is Supreme Personality of Godhead. He declares in previous chapter you already read. So that doesn't need clarification that, oh, why? Why should I listen Krishna's opinion? Oh, if you don't listen, then Krishna say in next chapter coming up, what will happen? But so far, if we have faith that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is the greatest of all the gods, he is the Supreme God, and which he says, he will say in upcoming chapter in Bhagavad Gita, he will clarify all that doubts because this is common doubt. But for now, you should know that the devotees who are practicing Krishna consciousness are the topmost yogis. There is no yogis better than them. This is Krishna declaring here. And he analyzed all kind of yogis in this chapter. We started with Karma Yoga, chapter 3. Then we were in transcendental knowledge. So fourth, fifth, Dhyana Yoga, Gyan. Now this is sixth is Dhyana Yoga. We had a Gyan Yoga and Ashtanga, all that we read already. So this Dhyana Yoga is like end of the yoga. And after this, seventh is gonna be Bhakti Yoga. Krishna is gonna describe 7th chapter is start of Bhakti Yoga, because here this chapter ending it that Bhakti Yogi is the topmost yogi. Now next question would be, what is Bhakti Yogi, right? Knowledge of the Absolute. So that's gonna start next in chapter 7 of Bhagavad Gita. Okay, any questions, comments, any realization anyone want to share?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, iPhone 5, I always forget who is he, actually.
Sorry?
iPhone 5, who is he? I forget actually.
Oh no,
I
it's the
recall
same Ramchandra joined with another
Ram from,
phone.
okay, it's the same. Okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay. Thank you.
thank you. Yeah. Any questions, comment? Everyone understood? Or any doubts?
Understood, but we'll have to read again because it's very vast.
Very vast, yeah. Don't worry. As you go on, chapter 7, you get more clarity. But so far, at least the one understood what are different type of yogas, yogis, and what are, what they do, why they do, and then what is the topmost. That much I think we should. And what is process of meditation? Krishna very elaborately described what is meditation. Now in future, if somebody said, oh, this is meditation, you can have a checklist. Okay, so what do? Do you have a control over eating, sleeping habits, mating, defending, how you live your life? If you cannot control those things, how can you be yogi? Impossible. I can't believe you are a yogi. Because if you cannot control smoking or drinking, then how can you say, oh, I'm a yogi? Right? Or so that is Bhagavad Gita takes time to understand because so condensed knowledge. It is the essence of all the Vedas and all the things. So it is definitely very condensed knowledge. It's like reading a constitution. You may not understand every article of constitution. It takes books, each book to understand every sloka, every article of the Constitution of India, right? Like Article 14, there will be a book. Article 21, there will be a book, right? So, but you understand, the only way to understand, Krishna says, have faith, practice it, and chant Hare Krishna. Chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna will reveal because it's so condensed knowledge. He will reveal to us in proportion we are ready to digest. He knows how much I can digest. So he will reveal that much. And as we increase our digestive capacity, he will relieve more, reveal more and more. Otherwise, we may get bewildered. Okay, how? What did I understood here? But thank you for sharing that. Anyone else wants to share anything? Okay, no problem. So wish you all a happy Holi and Gaur Purnima. We'll do one round of chanting. I'll share the screen. All of you can chant with Srila Prabhupada. Okay.